All right. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the May 12th City Council meeting. And I'll ask the clerk to call roll.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Triguero.
Present.
Brunner.
Present.
Newsom.
Present.
Boulder. Here. O'Hara. Here. Vice Mayor Kalantari-Johnson.
Present.
And Mayor Keeley will be absent today.
Thank you. I'd like to see if there's any statements of disqualification for the closed session. Yes, Councilmember Brunner.
Closed session agenda item 2, out of abundance of caution as it relates to my employment.
Thank you. All right, I will go to the public to see if there's public comment regarding any items that are listed on the closed session.
How long do I have to speak?
3 minutes.
3. Ooh, for a claim, only 3 minutes. Whoa, it's not a lot. Well, first of all, I'd like to publicly apologize for saying several times that your utility taxes tax the franchise tax.
Recording in progress.
I made a mistake, and I won't do that again, and I try to be very accurate. I feel bad about that. However, that has nothing to do with my claim. My claim is that the language, it's really a code interpretation of the Muni Code, and Muni Code as regards franchise tax, says the franchise tax will be paid by service users on a monthly basis, shall be computed as follows. 3% of charges made by the city for water delivered to the service user plus minimum service charge. And note the tax is imposed for charges for water delivered to the service users, past tense. I suppose you could say, well, anything we put on the bill is for the water, but is that true? You know, if we're water delivered, actually delivered water, you can put anything on the bill and say that, but is it true? And I probably didn't put enough claims in my claim. I only talked about 2 of the charges, but if you think about a lot of, say, withdrawals from the water fund, like for art, that's not for delivering water, and many others, I don't, we don't really know what they are, but transfers to the General Capital Investment Fund, to the CIP Public Art Fund, and also, of course, there's a lot of money borrowed by the water department, and you don't spend it right away, and you pay interest on it, or we pay interest on it, but it's not delivering any water unless you actually do something with it, and there's a ton of that. And the projects themselves aren't completed for years and years and years. They don't deliver any water, which is partly what my claim is about, the infrastructure reinvestment fee. Until those projects are done and actually deliver water, they're not delivering water. So, and as the other fee, the rate stabilization fee, in an ideal world, you just collect a bunch of money and it sits there just in case money. And that doesn't deliver any water. Balance in the fund doesn't deliver water, never did. Of course, there's a lot of shenanigans that go on with the rate stabilization fee, in that it should be used just for, in case the water sales in terms of, I'd say, volume is less than expected. What a wonderful world that you, have a monopoly, no competition, you sell an essential health service, everybody has to buy, and you control everything except the amount of water they buy, and over the last 10 years, it's been nearly constant. So, however, recently it was revealed that they lost $48 million, which I don't know how that happened, but I don't know that you deserve the taxes.
Is there anyone online?
No, they're not.
Okay. For the record, the real property items to be discussed in closed session are those listed in the closed session agenda. And with that, we will adjourn to closed session, and we will be back no earlier than 12 noon.
Or 1.
1, excuse me. I'd like to call the 1 p.m. session of the May 12th, 2026 meeting of the City Council to order, and please call roll.
Councilmember Triguero,
Present.
Brunner,
Present?
Newsom,
Present.
Golder, O'Hara, Vice Mayor Kalentari Johnson,
Present.
and Mayor Cooley will be absent today.
Thank you. We'll move on to oral communications. So this is for members of the public who wish to speak on items not currently on the agenda, but within the jurisdiction of the City Council. Please step forward.
Good afternoon, council members. In 2019, this council adopted Vision Zero and committed to eliminating traffic deaths by 2030. Since 2024 alone, while all of you have served on the council, at least 3 people have been killed and more than 370 have been injured, including many people walking and biking. That doesn't include all of the data from this year. I want to ask 2 simple questions today. Is the Vision Zero task force still active? Also, are we recognizing that the most cost-effective way to honor our health and all policies ordinance is through making changes to the built environment? You're already doing that with housing, so why not do more in the way of road safety? Because when you look at streets like Bay, Laurel, Water, Soquel, Broadway, Mission, High, and Delaware, the pattern is clear. We continue to wait years for safety improvements while people continue to get hurt. A small segment of Laurel Street was recently delayed for a little over 2 years. During that delay, 12 people were reportedly injured there, most of them on bicycles. This is why more cities are moving toward quick-build safety projects, paint, posts, protected lanes, and safer crossings that can be installed in months instead of waiting for a decade for the perfect capital project. And that brings me to the budget. The draft CIP a few weeks ago included roughly $200,000 for office renovations here at City Hall, but no general fund money for quick-build safety improvements or investments in streets at all. If Vision Zero and health and all policies are truly priorities, then the budget should reflect that. Street safety projects do not need to be perfect before they save lives. We can be doing more to honor children and people of all ages and abilities in this next budget cycle. Please allocate general fund money next year for quick build safety projects on high injury corridors. Thank you for your leadership on this important issue.
Thank you. Is anyone online? Okay, we'll go to the person online. Person online, we're ready for you. Okay, we'll go to the person, next person here in council chambers.
Okay, I went to the 5-4 Water Commission meeting, and it was revealed by the COSA analyst there suggesting that the water department lost $48 million since 2016, or for $12.7 million budget, the budget compared to the actual revenue. But they suggested that declining water use was to blame, and I would say don't take that as an answer. Using your annual budget data, I see only a 3.4% decline in the 5-year period now that we're in now compared to the previous 5-year period. From your own data, there's no good excuse for these losses, since this volume reduction should have been easily covered by the rate stabilization fee, which was collected $15 million for during that period, and the extra 50% charged on debt obligations in the rate setting calculations. Considering everything else is in the management's estimation and control. Their solution is money for doubling the money for nothing, ready to serve charge, which people pay whether they use water or not, and makes water more expensive for small users, and jacking the rate increase 10.9% for starters in 27. I would say you sell water, not projects, not salaries. In principle, all the charges should be tied to water use. And the tiered water structure is problematic somewhat, and I'm not getting into it. It is more problematic than just straight water use. Anyway, you might want to consider looking at changing it. And plus, you really want to sell more water. Are we really out of water? I don't think so. You know, we've done a lot of conservation. We had some scares with drought, but you know, a lot of this would get fixed if we'll use more water. So maybe you should raise the lower tier rate to 6 CCF or something in the bottom tier, and people would use more water.
Thank you.
Ask some questions. I have some questions for you to ask them, and I hope you won't just take their
Can you hear me?
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we'll
Can
go
you
to
hear
the
me?
person online. Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed.
Thank you. Members of the community, last Thursday, homeless activists visited Coral Street near Highway 1 at 7 a.m. To document the police orchestrated seizure of all property homeless folks could not carry away from their survival encampment, apparently without objection from Housing Matters, the monopoly service provider outside whose gates they were camping. Another police raid and a sweep of the homeless community was taking place. Another Housing Matter approved sweep, apparently backed by Mayor Keeley's city council, making it more difficult for case managers and community supporters to provide assistance and communication with those living there. No facilities, either indoors or outdoors, for the refugees to go to. The city acquired Santa Cruz Motel was supposedly to be used by funds from the $4 million encampment abatement funding, though built and already ready since last October, but it was still vacant. The Coral Street sidewalk residents for the last month have been denied water, phone charging, personal mail service, and toilet or porta potty access since April 1st. Volunteers reported accounts of usable mobility devices being thrown on disposal trucks and hauled away. Police reportedly taped off and held off the deportees from returning to retrieve their own property, affecting more than 50 or more surviving in the tents and tarps by the roadside. And they were at the very gates, of course, of the multi-million-dollar Housing Matters Poverty Industrial Complex. Now, some of them exhausted may return to experience this cycle to reoccur next week. We like to call Housing Matters funding matters because that's what it seems to be all about. They, when they return, that is to say the homeless who don't have access, will have no access to drinking water, potable washing water, hand washing stations, even primitive porta potties, which have been removed. The gates of funding matters are closed.
Thank you.
For the health of the community,
Thank
the
you. Your time
survival
is
of
up.
those outside, restore those services.
Thank you.
Hello, Vice Mayor, council members, and staff. My name is Megan Range. I just came in to introduce myself. I'm the new Government Relations Director for this area. I have emailed with you all maybe once or twice. I will follow up with everybody individually. I just wanted you to be able to place a face with a name when I do follow up for meetings. I know you're not asking questions now, but we'll be in touch after the fact.
Thank you so much. What company?
Guys? PG&E, I am so sorry. Sorry, yeah.
Thank you.
I will go, and I'll go get coffee when I leave here. I promise.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. Anyone online?
No one with their hand up, no.
Anyone else in chambers who wishes to speak for oral communications? Okay, we'll close oral communications and move on to the next portion of our agenda, which is presentations. And our first presentation is a proclamation declaring the week of May 11th through 16th as National Police Week and May 15th, 2026 as National Peace Officers Memorial Day. And we have Councilmember Golder who will present a proclamation. And I see some of our officers are here.
Yeah, if any officers want to come forward and we can all thank you while I'm reading it, that'd be great. So whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the City of Santa Cruz Police Department, and whereas the police officers of Santa Cruz have worked unselfishly with the commitment and on behalf of the people in this community, including intentionally de-escalating violent incidents in spite of personal harm or hazard to themselves, and whereas these officers have safeguarded the lives and property of all in Santa Cruz through the community policing and problem solving, and whereas the Santa Cruz police officers have continuously worked towards inclusivity and advancements in racial equity by purposefully seeking community engagement and updating policies. Whereas their service and their dedicated efforts, these officers have earned the gratitude of the city of Santa Cruz. And whereas in 1962, President JFK authorized by Congress to proclaim May 15th each year as National Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all peace officers who have been killed or disabled in the line of duty. And now, therefore, I, Renee Golder, on behalf of the mayor and council in the city of Santa Cruz, do hereby proclaim the week of May 10th through 16th, 2026 as National Police Week in the city of Santa Cruz, and encourage all citizens to observe the week with our law enforcement officers, past and present, who, by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities, have rendered a dedicated service to the community, and proclaim May 15th, 2026 as National Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courage, have made the ultimate sacrifice to their community and have become disabled or died in the line of duty. So thank you.
Would anyone wish to make a comment?
Thank you, Vice Mayor, council members, city officials, Jose Garcia, the police department. While a few of my partners are present, it's important that I share that the important work really happens out in the field. And there are a number of men and women out there doing that very important work right now. We appreciate your sentiments more than you'll ever know. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your hard work. Thank you. All right, next we have a mayoral proclamation declaring May 17th through May 23rd as National Public Works Week, and we have Councilmember O'Hara who will present that proclamation. And I see Director Nguyen's here.
Thank you, Director Nguyen, if you would like to come up, and anybody else from Public Works, and then anybody else from Water. I see Deputy Director Coburn. Yeah, that's you. I see Isidro back there. I think we're celebrating both of our Water and Public Works departments today. Come on forward. I'm not going to be able to hug all you. I know that you're looking forward to that. Okay, the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and is themed Rooted in Service, Powered by Community, recognizing the deep commitment of public works professionals. Together, their efforts build the foundation of thriving communities and highlight how every project, seen and unseen, connects service to the people it supports. And whereas public works professionals deliver essential infrastructure, facilities, and services that support sustainable, resilient communities and protect public health, safety, and the quality of life in the city of Santa Cruz. And whereas these services are made possible by the dedicated efforts of public works professionals at all levels who build, maintain, and improve critical systems such as transportation, water, wastewater, stormwater, solid waste, parking, citywide fleet, and public facilities, as well as our water infrastructure. Whereas fostering community awareness and appreciation of public works strengthens understanding of their vital role in daily life. And whereas the City of Santa Cruz Public Works and Water Departments are recognized as, well, Public Works as a regional leader, all of you, everybody, in innovative programs and services, including active transportation, infrastructure, wastewater, refuge and solid waste, and sustainability initiatives. And whereas the city's water department shall also be celebrated, as it is a fundamental public works function that is essential to public health, environmental stewardship, and the daily life of the community. So now, therefore, I, Susie O'Hara, council member on behalf of the mayor, vice mayor, and the rest of council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through 23rd as National Public Works Week in the city of Santa Cruz, and encourage all residents to join the American Public Works Association and local agencies in recognizing and celebrating public works and water professionals, engineers, managers, and employees for their essential contributions that they make to protect our national health and safety and advance the quality of life for all. Thank you.
What a beautiful sight. Director Nguyen, we have a few words?
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor, council, members of the public. Thank you, council member. Thank you for honoring the work that we do in Public Works and in the Water Department. As we continue to grow and have stronger collaboration with our colleagues in the Water Department, we thought it fitting to celebrate National Public Works Week on the national level. The duties that our team performs, as well as the Water Department, are celebrated together. And with that, we are going to be hosting a Touch a Truck event next week over on Seabright Avenue across from Dave's Market. So Wednesday, May 20th from 12 to 2 p.m. As well as we'll be posting out some project videos starting this next week, both on the water projects and public works projects. And again, thank you guys for recognizing the efforts that we do in the city and trying to keep this city running and improving the quality of life for everyday residents. Thank you.
Wonderful. You do literally keep our city running, so thank you for all your work. All right, next we have a presentation by our Fire Chief, Chief Odie, about Beach Safety Week.
Hello. Thank you, Vice Mayor and Council. Actually, I'll make a small correction. This presentation will unfortunately not be done by me. Be done by somebody who is much more better fit to do this and much more well-spoken than me. I thank you guys for the opportunity. Next week, May 18th through May 25th, marks National Beach Safety Week. As we start to begin and enter into the summer season, it's very important on behalf of the fire department and our Marine Safety Division to sort of remind all of our residents and the visitors of our community the importance of recognizing beach safety and all of the recommendations that we will present to you today. But I also wanted to take this opportunity to present to you or remind the council and city staff, as well as all of our residents, some of the efforts that we are doing throughout the city to remind, again, our residents and our visitors to be safe. We have a bunch of different outreach efforts that are underway, that we're doing within the community with UCSC, and actually one new one that we're kicking off this weekend down in the beach flats. And so this is an opportunity for us to sort of present those with you today. And so without further ado, I'd like to present to you one of our new MSOs that you guys approved last year, Anais Moise, who will come up here and present to you just a few slides on our efforts that we're undertaking. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Vice Mayor and council members. My name is Anais Moise. I'm one of the new Marine Safety Officers. I'm new to this position, but I've been here working as a lifeguard down on the beach since 2016, so I've been around for a little while. Like Chief Odie said, May 18th through 25th is National Beach Safety Week. Every year, the Monday preceding Memorial Day through Memorial Day is recognized by the United States Life Saving Association as National Beach Safety Week. We've got a bunch of beach safety tips that we like to present. I'm going to talk a little bit more locally first, and then I'll talk more broadly. Our 2025 stats, we had over 1.2 million visitors to the beach, the main beach, Cowles and Wharf area. We had more than 40,000 preventative contacts. We really emphasize preventative lifeguarding here. We had over 300 rescues made by lifeguards, both with the 911 response, collaboratively with the fire department, AMR, other allied agencies, and then also on the beach by our beach lifeguards. The preventative lifeguarding component is huge. 40,000 people that we talked to before they got in trouble. That's really what we preach down at the beach, making sure that we are educating the public, advising them of potential hazards before they become a risk to that person. We also we had our pilot SALT program, which is surfer awareness of life-saving techniques. We did that with the Santa Cruz High Surf team. So we had a group of about 20 kids come down to lifeguard headquarters. We did a classroom portion where we taught them hands-only CPR. We taught them some rescue techniques. And then we went out into the water and showed them ways to help someone in the lineup, right? The surfing community is a huge part of the Santa Cruz community. We work very closely with them, both in and out of the water, you know, day-to-day lives. We overlap with the surfers a lot. We've seen a lot of pretty high-profile rescues where they've been present in the water first. You know, you can't get closer to the scene than being in the water already when it starts happening, right? So getting that knowledge out there to these up-and-coming surfers, these members of our community, was really essential. And we're looking to expand that program, do it with more groups. It was really successful with the Santa Cruz High Surf team. So that was really wonderful. We extended our Know Before You Go messaging. So we have a My Safe Beach Day website. It's now been updated, not just for the beaches in the city, but also all of the beaches in the county. It has information on rip currents, other water safety hazards, other amenities, you know, if there's parking or bathrooms, right? These kinds of things that are really useful for people going to the beach. And then we really expanded our UCSC outreach. We had tabling events. We went to their Cornucopia event, which is out on the East Field. There's all of the new students come out. We had a table. We talked to them about lifeguarding, about CPR, about water safety. With our UCSC students, we have a lot of people who maybe are new to the area or new to the ocean, and talking to them about the different and very dynamic environment, talking to them about, you may be an expert on the ocean down in San Diego where you're from, but our water's a lot colder, or our cliffs are a little bit different. And so we had a lot of really wonderful conversations there. And then we also had a section with their welcome week. So we went up and we presented twice to groups of students who are coming in and interested in learning more about the ocean. A lot of really wonderful conversations there. Our Beach Safety Week, we are working with Katie Lee, our public information officer. She's going to be posting on social media some national scale planning programs, you know, that the USLA puts out, and then we're going to film some content with our local lifeguards here about public safety. These are our top 10 safety tips, right? Swim near a lifeguard, learn to swim, learn rip current safety. All of these things are really great. We're going to be posting about them every day with the fire department page, and then also our local lifeguard association will be posting those tips as we go. As Chief Odie mentioned, coming up this Sunday is our Dia del Mar community event. It's Sunday, May 17th from 10 to 1. It's going to be on Main Beach. They're going to meet in the Beach Flats Gardens and walk down to the beach. We'll have, I believe right now our number is 17 lifeguards that are signed up, Spanish-speaking bilingual lifeguards who are going to be there present to help kids and families, anyone come down and get involved, who may have limited or no experience with the ocean. We noticed that there's a pretty big discrepancy in our junior guards program and our lifeguarding staff in general, and that those communities, those groups don't necessarily reflect our community as well as we would like them to. And so this event is our next step in trying to bridge that gap and make it a more welcoming environment, and really tell our community, you are welcome here, we want you here, we want you here, and we want you here safely. So I hope to see many of you on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any further items in your presentation? Okay, let me see if council members have questions or comments. Councilmember Golder.
Thank you for bringing that to us, and I appreciate the outreach to the beach flats. I just also want to be mindful that one of the barriers that prevents certain demographics from joining junior guards is the access to swim lessons, and the fact that our pool hasn't been up and running to the extent that I think it could be. I really want to see what we can do. This is back to Matt and staff about, because I know it's not your department, but I think to the extent possible, working with Parks and Rec to make sure that we have that staffed year round so kids can have access to affordable swim lessons. And I was recently at an event where somebody reached out about collaborating with Santa Cruz City Schools, because all 3 high schools, but the 2 in our cities, have beautiful pools. And maybe we could work out an MOU where we could offer swim lessons through with what do we call it? The Children's Fund. I was calling it something else, but the Children's Fund, and offering, scholarships or ways to collaborate with the after-school programs at least the Title I schools to get kids that are from underserved communities access to learning how to swim.
Thank you, Councilmember Golder.
Just to make a comment on that, I know there is an effort with Parks and Rec and our staff to change up some lifeguard job descriptions so that we can effectively do some instruction, whether it's at Harvey West or another pool like you mentioned in the community. So that effort is underway and hopefully it'll make some headway. Yeah.
Yes, Councilmember Brunner.
Thank you so much. It was very nice to meet you, and thank you for all your work, and to all the lifeguards and all the marine safety officers. Such a critical role, and thank you for explaining that list. And is it posted on the city website? Do you know?
When you say the list,
The
you
list
mean
of
the
beach
programs, the outreach?
safety, the beach safety list of
The top 10 tips.
top 10 tips.
So that is on
and-
USLA's website. I'm not certain if it's on our city's website. I'd be happy to have it up there. I think it's great. There's a lot of resources on USLA's website that go more in depth and talk about more information about those things. You know, the rip current safety, talking about what a rip current is, what it looks like. And so if we want to add that to the website, I'm all for it.
I just always think it doesn't hurt if someone's looking up information. And I guess my main question is, we have a lot of visitors, and those visitors are also students who are new to Santa Cruz, maybe have moved here, and one of our beautiful highlights of living or going to school in Santa Cruz is our ocean, and not everyone has the experience of recognizing ocean safety. And so are you also outreaching? You mentioned many outreach touch points with the university, for example. Some of our recent incidences have involved students, from, as far as I understand. So
Yeah, that's a great question and a great point. And we've actually been working with County OR3 and many of our coastal partners. Our OES manager, Meredith Albert, has set up a coastal coordination work group. And so we've been working with those individuals, so those different organizations, to expand, like we mentioned, our Know Before You Go campaign, the Safe Beach Day platform online. And with those QR codes, they can access any beach in the county. And again, it gives them up-to-date information on all the conditions and specific hazards for that location. And embedded in that platform, they have links and there'll be explanations as to the rip current and many of those beach tips that you were referencing. And I know on our the fire department webpage, when you go into the Marine Safety Division, there's the explanation of what a rip current is and how to get out. And I believe we do have that access. And if it's not, we will add that in terms of the 10 tips to be safe at the beach. But yeah, that Know Before You Go campaign is something that we're trying to expand. We have it on our B-cycles. We're trying to get it on metro buses so that it is something that is absorbed or, taken in by people that are not just residents and visitors, but the UC students as well. Because again, with our efforts with OR3, we're trying to also work with RTC to put QR codes and signs all the way up the rail trail, up the North Coast, since that is one of our biggest hazard areas that we respond to. Even though that we're the city department, we are one of the first responders that go up there, all of our lifeguards and our fire department responders. And so we want to make sure that we can prevent that from happening. Again, lifeguarding is all about prevention. And so if we can provide information before folks go down some of those long trails with a QR code that says, this is 3 Mile Beach. This is maybe a place that you don't want to take your kids to based on these hazards and the limited resources that are available. Hopefully we can provide them that information before they go down there. And maybe they get familiar with that platform beforehand and they use it again and again and again. Very similar to like Surfline, but it's something that's a little less technical. That's more for like the surfers, the avid surfer, and this will be more for someone who's just trying to figure out a specific beach or area and kind of figure out what amenities are there, what special events might be occurring there, and again, what sort of specific hazards are at that particular location. And you'll get what the surf size is, what the tide's doing, what the weather is, what the water temp is. And so it's all specific for each location. And it goes from the South County all the way up to the San Mateo County line.
Wow, that's great, thank you. Is there a need for more signage on the beaches, or will the Know Before You Go campaign, like, for people who don't go to the website
Yeah,
and, you know?
and we're working on that. We're trying to strike that balance of not having pollution, right, in terms of signage. We have a partnership with many of our hospitality groups. I'm doing a presentation with them in a couple weeks. We have window stickers and table tents that they put in their lobbies. The Dream Inn, for instance, has their daily dreamer that they put out to all their visitors, and it has the QR code there so that everybody can visit. They also have it on the pool deck so people can scan it before they go down to Cal's Beach. So we're making headway. It's not something that everybody has subscribed to or adopted in terms of putting that out there, but one of our efforts with our partners in CAL FIRE is to get the Davenport, is it the cash store, up there to actually post and have that present up in that town so that people that are visiting there can be familiar with Davenport Landing or Davenport Beach in terms of what those hazards are as well. So we're making headway. It's not something that everybody has subscribed to because, again, we're the city of Santa Cruz and trying to get everybody else to sort of jump on board is difficult. But like I said, we started really small, but we're growing.
There's also the beach downtown shuttle. That might be a good.
And actually, you got us into that, I think, last year, because you were part of my slide presentation.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you. Other questions or comments? Okay, thank you so much for the work. I was really delighted to see the piece about the students, because I know when I came here, however many decades ago, I didn't know much about beach safety. So thank you for all the work. Thank you for the presentation.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for the opportunity. Have a great day.
All right. Item number 7, the Hans Christian Andersen Award will be heard at around 3:45 later this afternoon. So we'll move on to presiding officers' announcements, and I have none. And then we'll move on to statements of disqualification. Any council members have statements of disqualification? Councilmember Brunner.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I will be recusing myself from agenda item 13, the Santa Cruz Museum of Natural History Downtown Pops lease, out of an abundance of caution as it relates to my employment.
Thank you. Any other? Okay. We're moving on to additions and deletions. Are there any additions or deletions?
I have none, no.
Okay. And moving to city attorney report. Please report on the closed session.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The council met in closed session in the courtyard conference room and discussed liability claims, and those are the ones listed on your agenda. The claim of Pritam Donapude, Gerard Phillip, and Mario Lastarina Snyder. And I would just note that those are item 14 on your open session agenda as well. The council also met to discuss real property negotiations, and Councilmember Brunner recused herself from that discussion. That involved 1339 Pacific Avenue, and I would also note that that does relate to item 13 on your open session agenda. And lastly, the council met with its labor negotiators, Sarah De Leon, about labor negotiations, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 8, and that is the council meeting calendar. Any updates to the calendar?
Nothing different than what's in your packet, but I do want to point out that the second budget hearing day, which was originally scheduled for the 27th, is no longer going to happen. It'll happen on the 26th of May.
Happen on the 26th of May instead of the 27th of May, and that's the budget hearing.
Yeah, typically it was 2 days held for budget hearings, and it's going to be on the 26th now.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are moving on to the consent agenda. These are items 9 through 18. And for members of the public who are streaming this meeting, now is the time to call in to comment on items 9 through 18. It will be acted upon in one motion unless an item is pulled by a council member for further discussion. I'm going to start on my right and see if there's any consent items that you have comments, questions, or would like pulled. I'll start with Councilmember Triguero.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I do have a couple of comments on consent. On Item 10, Commission for the Prevention of Violence Against Women appointment. I am elated to designate Kay Tellini to the commission. She is an exemplary member of my district. She's fairly new to my district, and yet has already organized and connected so many community members that it was a very clear choice, a very happily clear choice to designate her in this way. She was involved in the Midtown Business Improvement District in discussions with small businesses. She has advocated for increased safety and discussions around day services in the Midtown area, supporting businesses, our local kids, and our nonprofits in that area. And then she serves as a board member for one of our incredible nonprofits, the Diversity Center. So I am so excited to glean her expertise, her knowledge, and her ability to bring community together and build community and bring her into this capacity as a commissioner. And I thank her in advance for her dedication for that service. On item number 11, which is the explore the establishment of a citywide office of well-being and return with recommended steps. I want to thank my colleagues, Vice Mayor Calantri and Sonia Brunner, for joining me in this exploration, as well as so many of my community members. Kevin Norton, who was here earlier, he is one of the first people to get involved. He spent quite a few hours with me doing research with different cities, meeting with city staff, city council members from other jurisdictions. My local neighborhood leads, Robert Arizzi, exemplary among them, showing leadership on this item, and our CERT team, which organizes volunteers around response in emergency situations. All of them really poured into their expertise on this, and I'm really, really happy to have that community input. One of the crucial pieces of this is listed as B in number 2, which is the Neighborhood Activation Microgrant Pilot Program. I'm really hopeful that this central piece of this item will be the catalyst for future work. I believe that our neighborhoods and our future neighborhood associations, as they emerge, as we have new community members moving in, that our well-being and our mental health and our ability to connect, these kinds of community-led efforts, showing support for them through microgrants is something that really, really excites me as a council member. And so I'm really, really happy to see that piece of it. And I also read over public comment on this item. I read quite a few letters about this item. And so I definitely want to commit that this year, we have this exploration of the Office of Wellbeing. I saw in correspondence that neighbors also were still advocating for the Office of Neighborhood. So I do commit that in 2027 that I will continue to explore that with community members and work towards that, and look at ways that we can expand these initiatives to bring community-led efforts forward. On item 13, which is the natural history POPs lease, I love this one. I love the idea of an experiential, not just a retail, but an experiential experience coming in that is focused on youth and families, that brings one of our just most wonderful institutions right down into the center of our city, so that all of our visitors get an opportunity to make sure to experience that. And that's it for me on consent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Triguero. Councilmember Brunner?
Thank you. I had a couple comments. Agenda item 10, the Commission for the Prevention of Violence Against Women appointment. And I would just like to wholeheartedly support Councilmember Triguero's nomination of Kay Tellini to the commission. I've had the pleasure of working with Kay through the Midtown Work and Diversity Center, and I believe Kay will be a great asset and a dedicated commissioner. So I want to thank Councilmember Triguero and thank Kay Tolini for applying to this service. Agenda item 11, explore the establishment of a citywide Office of Wellbeing and Return with recommended next steps. I will just summarize that this is a really exciting first initial step in a process, and it's split into two sections, so it looks a little overwhelming. However, the first section is simply authorizing and directing staff to develop and explore options and to come back and return with us. And along the way, there will be more opportunity for our community and for people to share input. And I want to thank the neighbors who have been part of the process thus far, and also those who have emailed me since the agenda was posted and who support these efforts of well-being and what that looks like in our city. And as we continue to carry out the framework of health in all of our policies. So thank you to Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson and Councilmember Triguero for working on that as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Councilmember Newsom.
Thank you, Chair. Just a very quick comment on item 12. Just want to say I'm really happy to see this on our agenda. It will help move forward the East Side Resiliency Project at the Wharf, which will increase the resiliency of the East Side parking lot by replacing missing or damaged piles, adding stringers, and replacing decking and paving on that part of the wharf. So really happy to see this on our agenda, and want to thank Deputy City Manager Lipscomb and Development Manager Daly for bringing it forward. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Councilmember O'Hara.
Thank you. Just one brief comment. I like that you're going from the right. It's
switching it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
thank you. So a lot of what I wanted to mention about item 11 has been shared already, and I just wanted to share my appreciation to you and Councilmember Triguero and Councilmember Bruner for bringing this forward. You know, we are a full-service charter city, which means that we basically do everything as it relates to quality of life in this community. Some of it we experience firsthand, some of it's happening behind the scenes. How that translates to each and every individual's well-being, your health, your mental health, all of the different kind of continuum of those experiences is really important. And I think we've been doing a lot of work on this particular issue, and we have for decades. And I really like the idea of bringing that together. So I really appreciate the work putting into this, and I look forward to seeing what happens.
Thank you, Councilmember Golder. All right, I will make a brief comment as well on item 11. I am really thrilled and excited and want to thank my council colleagues, Councilmember Triguero and Bruner, and city staff for the work that they've put into this. You know, the city of Santa Cruz has become a national leader in health and all policies, and that's sort of our umbrella framework, and this takes it to the next level. It brings together, as Councilmember O'Hara was saying, the work that we've been doing really for decades, and shifting from working disparately, department by department, to a really coordinated, dedicated, accountable structure that centralizes our work. And I think there will be opportunity to leverage in between the initiatives that we have already in our city. And yes, as Councilmember Triguero and Bruner were mentioning, there are two specific actions as the first actions of the Office of Wellbeing, and that is a transparency dashboard. I don't know that we'll call it that, but we're working on the name. And I think that's really important, especially right now when it's so crucial and so important for us to continue to build trust with the public and really daylight the indicators where we're doing well and where we need to do better. So I'm excited about that. And then neighborhood microgrant. Again, I think now more than ever, community members, I hear directly from community members that they are looking for ways to get engaged in their local communities when national and international politics and policies just seem so out of reach. Folks are really looking for ways to get involved, and I think this can provide an entry point for that. So really, really excited for this item and see how it all unfolds. And then I will just also take a moment on item 13 and acknowledge my colleague, Councilmember Newsom, for the great work you did on the vibrancy ordinance, because this is a result. This is one of the results of the vibrancy ordinance. This is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see property owners and our community partners in the city partnering in this innovative way, and just excited to see family-friendly, community-rooted organization in our downtown space. So I think with that, I will take it out to public comment for items 9 through 18 on consent. Anyone here wish to speak? Please. And you'll have 3 minutes total for any of the items, or all the items together.
Thank you. I just want to speak on item number 11. Thank you, Vice Mayor Calatarin Johnson, and especially to give thanks to Council Members Chiguero and Sonia Bruner. I'm Jermaine Hedden-Jones, the Superintendent of Recreation for the City of Santa Cruz, and I'm also a longtime resident. I'm speaking today in support of the recommendation to explore the establishment of a citywide Office of Wellbeing. This direction aligns deeply with the mission and daily work of our department, Parks and Recreation, and it represents a meaningful step toward embedding health, equity, and community vitality in the core municipal decision-making process. Building from a health and all policies framework recognizes that well-being is shaped not only by clinical care, but by the environments people live, play, age, and connect in. Our department, Parks and Recreation, is one of the city's most powerful public health engines, advancing physical activity, social connection, mental wellness, and community resilience. An Office of Wellbeing would strengthen cross-departmental alignment, ensuring that the health-promoting outcomes we strive for in recreation are supported and amplified across transportation, housing, public safety, climate action, and community services. And with the alignment with the sugar-sweetened beverage tax, which was designed with a clear purpose to reduce health disparities and invest directly in programs, facilities, and services that improve community health, Parks and Recreation has a key steward of such activity that we can directly deliver youth, adult, family, and senior programs that include nutrition education, active living initiatives, and facility improvements that directly address the impacts of diet-related diseases. Establishing an Office of Wellbeing honors the intent of the measure by elevating prevention, strengthening accountability, and ensuring that these investments continue to reach the residents we all benefit the most from. Santa Cruz is a community that spans generations, and our residents deserve opportunities to age well, physically, socially, and emotionally. Recreation is inherently collaborative. It brings together families, youth, older adults, volunteers, cultural partners, and neighborhood groups. An Office of Wellbeing will help coordinate these intergenerational efforts, ensuring that older adults remain connected, active, and supported, while also fostering environments where all ages can thrive together. Our community has been clear about its needs: greater health equity, stronger coordination, and systems that support well-being at every stage of life. By exploring the creation of a citywide Office of Wellbeing, the Council has an opportunity to respond with vision and purpose, building a healthier, more connected Santa Cruz where every resident has a chance to flourish. Thank you for your leadership, and I appreciate all the work you've done to tell.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your work. Do we have anyone online? Okay. Please proceed. No one's online.
Hi, I'm Greg Bengtson, resident of Santa Cruz. Thank you, Vice Mayor and everybody here. Item 11 sounds fantastic. We'll see how it shakes out, but the faces I see here and what I've seen happen and what I know can happen in this community, I think something cool is going to happen. Right? It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of options. I tried to bribe people $10 a person to come in and just sit and observe the process here. Nobody came. I have other ways of motivating people, and I will, because this community deserves it. It's essential to have that input, and let's figure out how to rile things up, make things happen. And I appreciate every one of you, everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone online? Anyone else who wishes to comment on consent? Okay, then we'll bring it back here for a motion.
I'd like to move consent.
Second?
May I ask a procedural question with Councilmember Brunner recusing herself from item 13? How do we take the vote?
No, she can vote. I'll note in
You'll
the
just
minute
note
that
that.
she
Okay.
is not voting on that item.
Great, we have a motion by Councilmember Triguero, a second by Councilmember O'Hara, and we'll take a roll call vote.
Councilmember Triguero,
Aye.
Brunner,
I, with the exception of item number 13.
Newsom,
Aye.
Holder,
Aye.
O'Hara. Aye. Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Aye. That was it. I'm the last one. Okay. All right, moving on to item 19, public hearing. And this is a second reading and final adoption of ordinance number 2026-10, amending Santa Cruz Municipal Code, Chapter 9.90, AB 481, military equipment use. Is that consent public hearing? No. It is. Okay. Any questions from council members?
I think 19 and 20 are.
Nope, they're separate. Yeah. Okay. Questions from council members? Okay. We'll go out to public comment on item 19.
I have no one online.
Okay. Looks like someone here.
Hello, Council. I did not have much time to prepare for this because I didn't know about this until today. Reading through the police's use of these military weapons in 2025, they displayed their pepper ball launchers 3 times towards incarcerated individuals, people that they had behind bars in prison. They used these pepper ball launchers twice on inmates. Now, these pepper balls, they're less lethal, but one of their side effects is instant cardiac death. There is no acceptable use. Pepper balls and tear gas are considered war crimes in any other situation other than when used on citizens, on people in the United States. That is unacceptable. And to use pepper ball launchers on people that you already have in custody is grotesque and disgusting. I cannot imagine any use. They said, so 8/18/2025, they said pepper ball launcher used in the main jail on a violent inmate. These are people behind bars. How do you say that someone is so violent that they are a threat and a danger to people while they are behind bars? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to speak on item 19? Please step forward. Is there anyone on Do you wish to speak on item 19?
Yeah, I just like to record what I say. You know, I find most of these proceedings now kind of laughable. It really is. I mean, you guys are pretending to support the public. I feel like Santa Cruz's Hogwarts School of Magic, and you guys are the Death Eaters. Sorry to say it, I could support that with a lot of information. As far as the, the AB 1185, military weapons, what caused me to first start publicly speaking almost 7 years ago. Why are we allowing military frequency weapons in civilian locations? That situation has just exploded during this scamdemic. You know, like it or not, there's humor with the how all of these things, even this thing, this was the best military weapon I could find in 2023. I have 2 of them. We're all affected by frequencies. And I don't know the exact page of about 95 that came up a month ago in this city as far as the military weapons that was submitted. But it was spoken about last week or 2 weeks ago in the supervisors meeting. It was the first page of 31. And really, they can use anything under the sun. So to the degree of the falseness of you guys supporting the public and what's really being talked about and how that relates to how we're all being affected by the military weapons that are of use that nobody talks about, it's just laughable sad. You know, I wrote some stuff down that I don't even know what to say. You guys would like you to start exceeding my expectations. That's enough. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else on this item? Okay, I'll bring it back to council. All right. We
Ask
have
a question, a point of order. Last time we divided this item, is that an option this time?
If I could speak to that.
Yeah, thank you.
What is before the council today is just an ordinance updating the city's code. At your last meeting, you kind of got into the details of the actual policy, and that's today, it's just the second reading of just minor municipal code changes related to just overall the city's processes related to military equipment.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Golder,
Second.
a second by Councilmember Newsome, and we'll do a roll call vote.
Make a comment?
Oh, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for bringing that up in terms of the dividing of the question. I'm a little surprised I don't think there's anybody from PD here to answer questions. We did have, from my perspective, a very robust conversation on this at the last meeting when we did the first reading. And most of that conversation was about the policy and dividing the question around that and adopting the report. I do have a clarification for the city attorney. Is the adoption of the report also embedded in the ordinance? Or is it, those are totally separate?
No, it's simply the municipal code changes, yeah.
Okay. I just want to make kind of a closing comment on the overall discussion that I think there are continued opportunities to enhance our reporting processes and ensuring that adherence to 481 is as tight as we possibly can make it. And, you know, this is a very challenging subject. And I think making sure that our comfort level and our discussions and our transparency are completely managed and enhanced each and every year, I think is an important thing for us to do. So I'm in support of moving forward with the ordinance. I do want to personally request for our police department to take very seriously the requests from the ACLU to enhance our transparency and our reporting requirements. Thank you.
Thank you. Other council members have questions or comments?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to align myself with Councilmember O'Hara's comments. I think last time we had a great discussion, and I look forward to continued discussions between the ACLU, the PD, Chief Escalante, and this council. And I, again, want to reassert what I had said at last meeting, that I want military equipment to remain unique and every year put over with a fine-tooth comb. I want it to remain unusual. Having one person from our community show up today to speak is valuable, and I encourage more members who maybe share those beliefs to come forward with more information. I think ACLU at the national level reflects the values of a lot of my constituents from what I understand, and I think our local chapter has brought forward some really good information, and I come into it from the spirit of improving those policies. Last time I voted no on the report and yes to the rest, so I'll be voting yes on this ordinance update, but I remain that I think next year's report, next year's community meeting, and the way that we work alongside our ACLU remain my priorities as we come back to this next year again. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Other comments or questions? Okay, now we'll go to a roll call vote.
Councilmember Triguero,
Yes.
Brunner,
Aye.
Newsom,
Aye.
Boulder,
Aye.
O'Hara. Aye. And Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Aye. Thank you, and that passes unanimously. All right, we are moving on to item 20, and that is the first reading of an ordinance related to the city's local preference policy. And we have Ms. DeWitt and Ms. Lipscomb and Mr. Lee Butler. We'll start with you, Ms. DeWitt.
Good afternoon, Council. I'm Jessica DeWitt, the city's housing manager, and today I'm presenting proposed updates to the city's local preference policy. Nope, still not working. Here's the city's current local preference policy. The preferences are listed in order of priority, including both live and work preferences for city and then also for county. With the high cost of housing and local workers getting priced out of the city, council took action this past October 28th and adopted a resolution to strengthen the city's local ordinance policy. The bullet points listed describe the proposal expanding who can qualify for the preference, increasing the type of housing units that need to comply with the preference, and creating a better framework for the implementation process. So staff set about clarifying the purpose and intent of the proposed update to the local preference policy, as you see in the bullet points listed, including prioritizing both living and working in the city as equally important, and also including priority for city residents who have been displaced while continuing to ensure compliance with fair housing law. The review process included in-depth analysis by city attorney and outside legal counsel Goldfarb and Littman, housing council subcommittee feedback, and community feedback. Now, what is listed on this slide is the local preference priority order recommended to the city's planning commission on this past April 16th. The idea here is that there are environmental and social equity reasons for pairing both live and work preferences together with equal priority. So while category A is prioritized over category B, all of the subcategories in A 1 through 3 would carry equal weight, and that same ranking scale would apply to the subcategories under the lower priority preference category B. So those displaced or those living or working in the city equally receive priority preference for affordable housing over those living or working in the county. Other key elements of the proposed local preference policy update include adding a new Part 5 to Municipal Code Chapter 24.16.045 that expands the legal mandate to apply the local preference, increasing the type of housing units where the preference can be applied, including 100% affordable units, density bonus units, and units receiving city financial assistance, creating guidelines to help property owners better understand the process, and establishing a formal data system, tracking data system for implementation. So even though the city's current local preference policy only applies to the city's inclusionary housing units, housing staff has been requesting local preference stats for newly built and leased 100% affordable housing projects. And the property owners have been voluntarily complying with providing this data. The local preference policy update proposed here today will make this formal requirement and ensure the continued adherence to the policy. So with that, staff is proposing the following recommendation.
Thank you for the presentation. Questions from council members? Councilmember
Very
Boulder.
eager on this. I'm really happy this is coming forward. I have to say, I immediately went to, go back to that other slide with, if you could, the one with the different unit, right there.
Yes.
I think you know I have family living in Jessie Street. I went to Cedar Street when it opened, and both Cedar Street and Peck Station South are in my school's attendance area. I went the day that Cedar Street opened and I met with their property manager, and this 100% was not happening. And I can say with confidence, because I get the students' cume folders from the previous school, that's not accurate. Yeah, so I'd like you to just speak to that, because I know that's not accurate for Cedar Street at least.
Yeah, I would love to speak to that. So what's possibly happening is the information you're receiving at your school is showing school district information. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So somebody could a family, a household could very easily be living in Watsonville, and their kids are attending a school district in Watsonville, but the head of household works here in Santa Cruz and commutes every day to get here.
So I'm going to speak to that. So I've met with all these families, and they moved here because they got the housing. Their cumes are coming from outside the county. Other counties, Central Valley, San Benito County, North Monterey County. And like, this is something that I'm really passionate about, because I really do care about affordable housing. However, I don't feel like it's our jurisdiction's responsibility to solve it for the entire region. And so I appreciate the distinction between city and county with those tiers, but this information you're getting is not accurate. I don't know who's given it to you. I can tell you though with certainty that I have a list of addresses in their previous schools, and I've talked to the families.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the data here in front of me, but that is where the information could get confused, is maybe a family moved at some point from somewhere else and is communicating that. But again, without having the data specific, but that's an instance where this could occur, where it would look like someone's school district isn't the city of Santa Cruz, but someone in the head of household still works here.
I hear you and I understand, and I completely disagree. But I'm going to say one more thing, is that I do know of 2 cases too in one of these buildings where someone moved to town homeless and got through Housing Matters into one of these units, and I'm not going to say which one, but I know of two people. So their last address, yes, they were sleeping on the streets, but they came to town, were here for less than 6 months, and then we put them in one of our valuable units that our residents are subsidizing. And so I just want to know if there's a clause or an instance that's like, yeah, thank you. I will believe you on this one.
Awesome. So what possibly could be happening is the housing authority also has project-based vouchers, right? All of these units, or all of these developments listed. And the city doesn't have jurisdiction over making the housing authority comply with their vouchers for this preference. So the housing authority's funding sources, their program requirements, they do not allow having a local preference from the city. So possibly this Housing Matters person that you're talking about maybe had an EHV voucher and an emergency housing voucher, and that's where this is coming from. But so there will be instances where we can't make a project-based voucher household comply with that preference. So that could be where you're seeing a discrepancy. Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Let me just ask, were you complete with your presentation before I went to questions? It was on a recommendation slide. Okay, so I made that assumption. I should have asked. Okay, let me see if other council members, Councilmember O'Hara.
Thank you, and I'll probably have some comments once we get into the deliberations around a motion, but I did want to appreciate this work and make a couple comments in terms of the time span between when we came together with the resolution and moving forward with thinking about this ordinance. This is a really tricky subject, right? We could have in our community these very strong values around ensuring that our teachers, our essential workers, our local community members who are living, working, raising their children here have access and have primary access to affordable housing. I think we all agree very likely that that is what we're trying to get to. It is complicated to get to that, right? You might have an ideal, you might have a value, the process and the system that you need to navigate through might make it very challenging to get to that space. And so I do want to talk a little bit more once we kind of get to the emotion around this, around some of the opportunities I think are present with this, but then also some of my reservations around it, and I'll provide some examples, because I do think Councilmember Golder makes a lot of important points, and I think because our community is so small, and particularly our Councilmember Golder over here has such an insider view of the dynamics of who's in our school system, how we report on who has access to these affordable units is going to be very critical, right? And so I think I'll leave it at that. I don't have a question for you, but I do appreciate the time, the energy, and then also the complicated work that we had to think about this in relation to, honestly, like, this is a very challenging subject around inclusivity and exclusivity, right? And it kind of can be discussed in both ways. So thank you.
Thank you. Other council members, questions, comments at this point? Okay, I do have just a couple of questions. I see that the plan is to partner with the Housing Authority to set up a tracking system. Do we have a sense of what that can look like? How will we track? How will we gather the data? Or is that too in the weeds and we don't know yet?
Too in the weeds and we don't know yet, but we are talking with the county and we are talking with the Housing Authority about a more region-wide system. It's just really expensive to try and, take on as just a city alone. So those conversations are ongoing. But in the meantime, we are also talking with our internal IT department about trying to create a more automated process for compiling this information, gathering and compiling this information. IT department is very busy right now with several other projects, so we're in the queue. But it doesn't look like it will be for a few months until we can really get going with them on working on a project. But as we implement it, we'll implement it on a rolling basis as we do our normal annual monitoring process, which is on a rolling basis throughout the year.
Okay, and this is maybe related. I see in the ordinance, the chapter 5, that we will, by resolution, establish fees for ongoing administration and monitoring of the local preference policy. How does implementation and enforcement look? Like, how do we do that? And it's maybe related to the tracking question.
Yeah, so as far as implementation, that is us trying to find monies collectively as a region to be able to put into a larger system ultimately. But in the meantime, that interim effort is us trying to work with IT to come up with a sort of smaller scale form-based approach to inputting the data. As far as enforcement, what we're really tracking on is to work on education. And trying to have check-ins at different points in the development process before it gets to a problem pace. So when someone goes in for entitlements, they'll have a condition of approval, right, that they have to follow inclusionary. So they're getting a check-in there. Then when they're going through their building permit process, they have to actually fill out and complete a affordable housing development agreement. We have another check-in there where there's a compliance certification form where we fill out, remind them, hey, you're supposed to be providing this at lease up. So again, then at lease up, they come back with this form and it specifies, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing for local preference. So we're trying to have check-ins during the development process because I'm sure you're aware it's a really, really long multi-year process. So we're gonna get different people coming in and having to re-educate people as we go. But that's our priority, is to educate folks before there's an issue.
But if there is an issue, then we are looking at, via this resolution, if I'm understanding it correctly, to have some kind of a consequence, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
For properties and development projects that don't abide by the local preference.
So I think the idea is to look at this on a case-by-case basis, because you could have instances where it's actually the applicant household that's created the issue versus an error on the property management side. So who's at fault, how to fix that fault. Maybe there just wasn't proper documentation provided. And maybe someone didn't want to provide the information because they wanted to keep it private. So there's a variety of instances that could occur. And I think our plan is to look at it on a case-by-case basis as to how to solve for it.
Okay, thank you so much. Councilmember Brunner has a question.
Thank you. Let's see, I think I remember you saying the data provided was voluntary so far, what was shown in that graph. But this new update would have some type of mechanism for requirement, and you kind of just explained the steps, and checks and balances along the way, so that we would and could get to a more accurate accounting that might be a little more realistic. Okay. And then I think what I think might be really helpful to also consider and include, I sat on the Housing Authority Board for 12 years, and I think having expanded the project-based vouchers was such a win. To have that as a funding source of affordable housing in new developments, it was a way that new developments could be built because it was having project-based vouchers there was a huge asset. And to avoid confusion, and already there's confusion in the community around what is affordable, where are the affordable, people see all the new developments as market rate or refer to the market rate. And now we have project-based vouchers where this would not apply to, because those programs have different preference policies. Is there a way to kind of clearly identify what this would apply to? Either via a list, a map, or just so it's clear for everybody, or X amount of units at this address, or I don't know if that's been considered or thought of, but I just think that would be really helpful to avoid the confusion.
Yeah, I think our GIS mapping, if I'm correct, can list, like, we have X, Y, Z number of project-based vouchers at this property. We have, this many at a VLI. I don't know if we would actually get down into the nitty-gritty of unit 503 is because of the privacy issue there. But
No.
Yeah.
But specifically, we our city local preference policies applies to 50 homes in this development or at this address, and it applies to, however many homes at this address. But just so it's clear that it might not be an entire development, and there are still other affordable homes in that development, but they're funded and managed by different sources that have different preference policies, like the Housing Authority.
Yeah, I think we could definitely add that to the GIS mapping that we have for our Find Affordable Housing map, and possibly in the legend, we could put something down there as an asterisk, that clearly states, helps people understand better the process and what programs are applied.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, thank you. If there aren't other questions, Director Butler.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd just like to make a comment because Councilmember Brunner raised this, and I hear this comment regularly about how many of the units are affordable that are being built in the city in recent years. So our annual housing element progress report, as you all know, was submitted to the HCD on April 1st. It covers 2.5 years. We were able to count the last 6 months of 2023 because we met all of our RENA targets leading up to that. So in the last 2.5 years, we've issued building permits for 1,027 units. 893 of those units have been affordable to very low, or moderate income. I want to repeat that. 893 of 1,027 units, or 87% of the units have been affordable, is really remarkable and worth reiterating. Just so you know, 422 of those have been very low, extremely low, or acutely low income. And 379 of those have been low income. Only 92 have been moderate income, and only 134 have been market rate. So just wanted to put those numbers out there because the amount of affordable housing that we are producing right now is really remarkable.
And hopefully soon we'll see that on our transparency dashboard. Thank you. All right, at this point, I'd like to take it out for public comment. Anyone who wishes to speak, please step forward.
Thank you. Adrienne Pearson, resident of Santa Cruz. This item presents a troubling situation for the council. And I really appreciate the comments and questions so far. Last October, this council unanimously passed a resolution to produce an ironclad plan for local worker and resident preferences in these subsidized housing projects. And this was just a few days before voters were being asked to once again dig deep to fund affordable housing by approving Measure C. This council advocated for the passage of Measure C. Many voters were skeptical, but some were reassured by the promises of the forthcoming ordinance for local preferences and to significantly strengthen the tracking, verifying, reporting, auditing, and enforcement for local preferences. And Measure C passed. Now we see the proposed ordinance, and it does not match the resolution of October 28th, 2025. This is not the plan that was promised. The draft ordinance and resolution do not spell out the details that voters expect. It's really an illusion of a plan. And I really appreciate the questions being presented by council members, astutely pointing out the 92% figure that really can be explained by voluntary self-reporting is not the same as verification and a validation system, okay? The draft ordinance and resolution don't have the details, and actually voters of Measure C may feel misled by the promise that there was going to be a real plan. The remedy, send the documents back to the desk of staff, produce the detailed plan as promised, because these drafts have gaping loopholes. This invites fraud and corruption. For example, a few examples, there's no annual monitoring system spelled out. The enforcement section is upon city request. An owner shall provide documentation of compliance. And there's a huge loophole that allows council to make an affordable housing project exempt from the preferences policy altogether. So when asking the public for money, when asking people to give away some of their equity in their home, there is the responsibility for ongoing verification, validation, monitoring, oversight, and at risk is the public's trust and their credibility. So again, voters stepped up to support workers who help sustain our community. Their generosity should be matched with a rigorous ordinance to ensure their intentions are fulfilled. I appreciate your help. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone online who wishes to speak? No. All right, next person in council chambers.
Thank you, Vice Chair Council, Gillian Greenside. I just want to start by saying that this is not just I'm a stickler for details and so on and so forth. This is very personal for me. I know families I'm very close to who are low-wage workers in our city who used to rent here for decades, who now travel from Watsonville and further afield to their jobs in Santa Cruz. And I know how many of them are leaving our city. It's going to, in the sort of long run, create a worker problem for the city. So I'm very concerned that our limited affordable housing is going to our local low-wage workers. So I voted for Measure C on the strength of what you passed on October 28th last year. I applauded your passing that. And with all due respect for the work the staff has done so far, there is a significant difference between what you are presented with today and what you voted on in October 28th. Let me just read through that, what you passed on October 28th. Staff to develop an implementation and enforcement policy that defines documentation, reporting and auditing procedures, integrates outcome metrics into city annual housing reports, provides mechanisms for evaluating effectiveness and additional accountability. There were to be affidavits from the property managers, verification processes, city-led annual compliance reviews, and legal procedures for non-compliance. And yet in this draft resolution, under 4, under evidence, it states the applicant may submit documentation for being local. Prior to offering a unit for rent, the owner must provide the city with a tenant selection plan, which describes the procedure for implementing the required preferences. Why is the owner supposed to supply the city with a plan? This resolution was supposed to be the plan that the property owner would follow. I'm running out of time. Prior to offering a unit, the owner must provide the city, under enforcement it says, upon city request, the owner will provide documentation. What if the city doesn't request it? And that documentation can be destroyed in 2 years. So it further says that if a violation has occurred, no mention of annual audits, etc. I'm sorry I've run out of time and I'm racing. This is really important. I hope you will consider the issues that we've raised. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone online? No, okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor and council members. Bruce Van Allen from Santa Cruz. Workers in Santa Cruz are stressed, especially those at low-wage jobs, over rents rising and being displaced. Renters in Santa Cruz in general are stressed, and if I can just be personal for a second, my rent has gone up the maximum each of the last 4 years. That amounts to 42% higher than it was 4 years ago. That's amazing, and that's happening to many, many renters. The landlords all say, oh, it's what we could get more on the market. Think about it. If you pay a mortgage, could you handle a 42% increase in your mortgage in just a 4-year time period? I think that would severely disrupt most families. Well, it certainly is disrupting renter families right now. And so displacement and the ability of people that work the jobs that keep our economy going, this is really stressing everybody. There are a couple levels to this. There's politics, policy, law, and implementation. Politics, we had a deal, let's stick with it. Policy, I think the city and the staff have worked hard to take the city in a much better direction. I appreciate the council members who've worked on it and the staff work and the mayor prodding it along, and that's been very helpful, and I'm pleased with the progress that we've made. Implementation, though, is a weak point, and the questions that council members have raised, the questions the public is raising are very important, because if a renter family could get into an affordable unit, that's life-changing in Santa Cruz. That means you have a whole different outlook on your security, on keeping your job, on keeping your kids in their good school. And I think we have to really step up and make sure the actual implementation really works. So I have a suggestion, which is that you proceed with the first reading of the ordinance today, but hold off on the resolution. It doesn't mean anything until the ordinance takes effect anyway, because it's an implementation thing. And some of us in the community are willing to work more with the council and the staff to improve the resolution, which is where the actual implementation practices and procedures get spelled out. And I think we have an opportunity to really improve the situation, and that's my suggestion for you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone online? No. Anyone else who wishes to? All right, I'd like to call the meeting back to order now that our mics are working. And we had come back for council motion and deliberation, and we had a point of order question. Okay. I did say 15 minutes. Do you want to ask your point of order question? Or?
I think I know the answer to it, so I'll just say it as a statement. I think the question about, or the recommendation to approve the first reading of the ordinance but postpone the resolution, those two things are decoupled very intentionally, so we can return to the resolution at any time. It doesn't require a first or second reading. The implementation and otherwise, kind of the policy side of the local preference as part of the resolution can be updated at any time. So that's all I wanted to ask.
Okay, and I see council member, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, just move the staff recommendation here with item 20.
Okay, we have a motion to move staff recommendation.
Second.
And we have a second. Okay, questions, comments from council members?
I'll just say a brief comment. Apologies to Jessica. I didn't mean to put her on the spot, but I am passionate about this, and I think this is a great step in the direction that the community wants. So thank you.
Councilmember O'Hara?
I just have some comments.
Please.
Are you sure? Okay. I did want to just reflect on some of the conversation that we had, because I do think that Councilmember Golder made a lot of important points, and I think that it's going to be incumbent upon us to really look at this frequently as we're working out the kinks, to make sure that the intent of what we are trying to achieve, which for me is ensuring that those that are living here and working here have first access to these units, is actually being met, right? If it's data that's on a dashboard that doesn't actually meet the expectations that what we are seeing, hearing, and understanding on the ground, we are not doing the work right here. So I want to say that very clearly. I also want to say that the original resolution that we passed in October had a little clause that said, as allowable by law. And I want to be really careful about what that means, right? And give a few examples as I've been pondering this about the trade-offs that we're talking about here. So if my husband's parents moved from Southern California, they're not working, they don't live here, wanted to have access to affordable unit, they would not be preferred. That is probably not meeting my intentions around this. If somebody was fleeing a domestic violence situation in San Benito County and wanted to have access to one of our affordable units, they would not have preference. I'm not sure that's exactly what I would want out of this. So I think it's very challenging to get to the heart of what we are trying to do with this ordinance, which is to ensure to the best possible, in the best possible way, within the extent of what we are legally obligated to do to ensure constitutional rights of everybody in this community, that our workers have first access to these units, that our locals have first access to these units. That's what's in our heart, I get it. That might not be exactly how this all pencils out, because we are under the obligation to do this in a way that protects everybody's constitutional rights. And so I would really want to open up that resolution and make sure that we are meeting the expectations of what we are trying to deliver on this thing. And I think we probably are very unified as a council on what we are hearing from our community. I think that is the reason why I wanted to move forward with this in the first place. Quite frankly, it had nothing to do with Measure C for me. Zero. And I understand that it was very compelling for a lot of folks to move forward with supporting Measure C because of this local preference. That was not part of my deliberations at all. My deliberations back in October and today are about what I think Councilmember Golder is talking about. How are our teachers going to be able to stay here? How are low-wage, workers going to be able to stay here? How are my in-laws going to be able to move here so I can take care of them? I don't know. How do we become a welcoming community to everybody who might need access to affordable units that don't fit this exact criteria? I think we're trying, but I do think we need to do this as a council in very careful steps to ensure that everybody's rights are maintained and that we are not discriminating. And I want to be careful about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember O'Hara. Councilmember Brunner.
Thank you. Maybe I'll start with kind of a thought on Councilmember O'Hara's thoughts and statement. I see this as a preference triage tier, not necessarily exclusion. And so the examples that were given were, they would still have access, just not the first priority access. And I think the questions you raise at the same time are valid and should still be part of this discussion as we move forward. But really ensuring that something is very distracting to me.
Turning it off. It's streaming.
Okay, I'll give it a second. I can't focus and talk. So with that, I do want to say that I appreciate, thank you for the work that has gone into this, to the council members and the housing staff that has put in a hard look at improving our current preference policy to ensure that our residents are indeed having access first to these affordable homes, and that is super important. Those who live and work and adjusting the priority preference, I think this is huge, and I hope that we can continue evaluating and analyzing and getting accurate data. I think that's really important and the best that we can as we move forward in a way that we can continue to keep looking at this and improving as needed. But we have, for the first time, so much housing coming, and a lot of, as the figures were stated with the affordable homes that are coming. And I always like to say homes other than units because these are places for families to live. And I know I'm a recipient of living for many years in public housing and being a recipient of subsidized housing, which allowed me as a single parent to go to school and work and raise my kid. And I know this applies to so many people, even more so today. With, the cost of living really increasing and the wages not matching. 42% increase in rent. I could echo the same. Every year having increases like that, but your wages only go up 2.5% or 3%, right? It doesn't match. And so people fall farther and farther behind. I do also want to call out that there are also additional programs that exist. I did have a couple of people ask about our most vulnerable populations. And there are programs that really are there for those that are medically vulnerable, veterans, those experiencing homelessness that are unhoused. There are priority programs already in existence. This is a separate thing. And again, it gets to the confusion I spoke of. However, we can make that clear and just really support that clear data. And I think this will be great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think with that, we will go to a roll call vote.
Councilmember Triguero.
Aye.
Brunner.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Boulder. Aye. O'Hara. Aye. And Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Aye. Thank you. We are moving on to item 21, which is consultant contract to street design standards, parking policy near transit proximate developments, and status update on implementation of the downtown plan expansion. And we have Ms. Clogley and Mr. Gavin here. Hussey, thank you.
Just a moment, I'm getting a clicker. Good afternoon, Vice Mayor and council members. I'm Claire Glogley, Principal Transportation Planner in Public Works, joined by Gavin Hussey, our Parking Programs Manager. And we're here as a follow-up to last August to bring you a variety of items related to transit proximate developments. Starting off with a reminder of why we're here. Last August, council brought an item forward that asked us to really come back with some potential solutions related to how changes in state law related to the amount of required parking can impact surrounding neighborhoods in both real and perceived ways. And really recognize that we are right now in a time of a lot of change at state level policy that's having a lot of impacts on our local neighborhoods. So the challenge, as we understand it, is that all of these changes in state law mean that many new developments that we see that are called transit proximate developments in various places in state code, they provide little or no parking. And what that means is that the traditional development pattern that we've had in adjacent neighborhoods may feel those impacts of not only parking spillover, but more cars in their neighborhood, more traffic, less access, less mobility. As we understand it, the vision in coming back to you is to really figure out ways that we can collectively reduce the burden on neighborhoods by addressing those parking concerns, while also looking for ways that we can provide a variety of housing types, as you just heard in your last item as well, and also support the transportation infrastructure. So we hear frequently when development projects come before you about fears from neighbors about that spillover parking, about the lack of ability to walk or bike or take transit in their neighborhood, about missing pieces of infrastructure. So hopefully this item before you today brings some of those tools to the toolbox. Some of those that we're going to be talking about are plan lines and objective standards. So how we strengthen our code to make sure that development is coming in a way that we want to see it and providing the types of infrastructure that we want to see in our neighborhoods. Looking at development impact fees, even if they're not directly providing that infrastructure, how do we have a fee-based program that is supporting the vision of what we want to see? Other code updates related primarily to active transportation that we hear a lot about, and then getting really in the weeds with neighborhood parking districts as one of the tools to manage parking in residential neighborhoods. So big things that we hear that are pretty consistent with almost every larger development project we have that qualifies for little to no parking is that existing neighborhoods feel like they will be impacted by this. You're going from what used to be a commercial structure or a single family lot to maybe 50 or 80 or 100 new units in that same amount of space. And that's a lot of new neighbors that you didn't have before. There's a lot of fear that those new neighbors will also lead to increases in congestion, that's going to make it harder to get to and from your neighborhood, that maybe you won't feel as safe with your kids playing in the street, riding their bikes to school, or you being able to walk to local places in your neighborhood. Lots of concerns about speeding and cut through traffic and getting to various levels of safety, both from new residents and then also with new congestion added to our roadways with people looking for alternate routes to get around. And that finally, many of these projects were no longer able to get as many of the needed bike, pedestrian, transit, and vehicular improvements that in the past, prior to the era of objective standards, we could negotiate in with developers. So we feel like we hear these things fairly consistently with most of the projects, and so this package of things hopefully helps winnow away at these. The first thing we have is a council follow-up. I believe it was Councilmember O'Hara asked us to come back with an update on what does it mean to be proximate to within a half-mile distance of a major transit stop as defined by AB 2097, which is the bill that enacted many of these parking reductions. The California Department of Housing and Community Development issued this technical advisory. They've also issued letters based upon this to various other cities that have asked for them to weigh in on this question. Here is a highlight from their FAQ sheet asking how is it measured, and it is measured in a straight line from the nearest edge of the parcel to where the transit stop is. So one of the points of discussion we'd had is it the route that you would take to actually walk to this place or bike to this place or drive a car to where the transit stop is? Is there a way that it recognizes natural barriers like rivers or mountains or a highway that you might not be able to cross? And the answer is no. Which we may like or not like, but here is the HCD interpretation and guidance to local agencies. That's the first piece, and the recommendation is an update on this. Next are 3 mobility topics. The first before you today is authorizing, hopefully, a contract to proceed with plan lines. When we adopted the downtown plan expansion last year, one of the things that we had inside of that plan was a whole set of mobility improvements. These included a relocated roadway, intersection improvements, including a roundabout, wider sidewalks, better bike lanes, things that make this area that we're anticipating having 1,600 new homes coming in and people living there to be able to provide more mobility. So what this work does is draft that up so that we can require that when development occurs, changing it from policy to action. So hopefully we can get that implemented today. We can encumber those funds in this fiscal year and get moving on that very quickly because we do anticipate development occurring in that area. The second are objective standards. So as we all know now, that's the name of the game. If you have it written out in an objective standard, it is something you can specifically ask for in development review. One thing in particular, at our last meeting, you adopted the active transportation plan. So we now have a whole set of different policy changes that we can put into code language that we could then require those improvements for walking and biking in our communities associated with new development. So it gets to that thing we hear a lot that maybe there's not a complete sidewalk where you are, you don't have a crossing, or the bike lane is not complete there. And so it gives us a tool to be able to require that as part of development. The third mobility topic that goes with this is development impact fees. Right now, we have the traffic impact fee. We adopted it in 2012. Generally, 80% goes towards auto-focused infrastructure as part of our general plan implementation. 15% goes towards bike and pedestrian project, and 5% goes to neighborhood projects. What we've heard a lot from the community when projects come before you is a lot of a different set of desires for what people want to see in their neighborhoods. A lot of what we hear is, on my local street, in my local neighborhood, I would like to have an improvement, and we currently don't have a funding tool for that. And so we have applied for funding, and we should hear results within the next 4 to 6 weeks if we got it, to re-look at our transportation impact fee and move it to a more multimodal approach, have a project list of projects that can be funded with it that seem to more align with the community values and political values that we're hearing, and then set us up with a funding stream so that we can then implement those projects that go hand in hand with having new homes in our neighborhoods that also mean that our existing neighborhoods can stay livable. Now we're going to get into the meat of the presentation, our neighborhood parking policy. Most of this today, we're asking, did we get the vision right? So we have a series of different policy topics that we're looking to get your feedback on. With that feedback, we will then go write policy and code language this summer and come back to you in the fall, winter with a package of code updates here. What we're bringing you today is based on the feedback that we got from the Transportation and Public Works, Downtown, and Planning Commissions. We engaged with all of them, so that informed the various topics that we're bringing you on neighborhood parking policy. So the vision as we understand it, again, based upon what we hear when development proposals come before you, is that people feel confused about the process and it feels onerous right now. They feel like having a neighborhood parking district is a tool that would make it so that their neighborhood didn't feel as many impacts from new development, but the process is challenging. It takes a long time and is uncertain. We also want a process that's going to be responsive to change. We didn't anticipate these various state laws coming through, and we haven't really updated the way that we do things to reflect how quickly that has changed. We also want to balance new housing that's coming in and meeting our goals there in various housing levels with recognizing that housing is going in a different style than what our existing neighborhoods mostly are. So how do you craft that balance to both welcome new neighbors and not negatively impact existing neighbors? We also want what we do to be predictable so that if you're a resident that is proximate to one of these new developments, you're not feeling fear that what you hope the outcome is going to be may or may not happen. You have a very clear idea of what it's going to be. And we also want it to be equitable throughout the city. So the first piece that we're bringing forward is about cost recovery. And this will flow through the rest of the items we have. Our neighborhood parking permit program allows for each qualified address to have up to 5 parking permits. That's inclusive of resident and guest. Each of those permits costs $30 per year. And with our existing program, our cost recovery is between 63 and 77%. The remainder is subsidized by the general fund. If we continue to think about this as one of our primary tools to help balance protection of existing neighborhoods, and we grow that number of districts, we need to recognize that we either think about cost recovery in a different way or accept that we have a level of subsidy from the general fund. So one of our policy questions here is, should the permit program have full cost recovery? And generally, as we've worked through it with our various advisory bodies, the answer was yes to that we were encouraged to bring you a recommendation to say that we should explore pricing to achieve full cost recovery, both as a tool to sustain the program as a way to manage supply and demand, and as a tool to think about maybe if the cost increases on a permit, you park in your driveway instead, or you clean out your garage and you have that space, and maybe you don't use all 5 of the permits that are available to you. The other recommendation we're bringing you is changing the way we do things from offering permits per address. So right now you can get 5 per address to 5 per parcel. And that would recognize that many of our parcels are densifying in different ways, either through multifamily housing or the addition of ADUs and junior ADUs. But at the same time that's happening, we're not expanding the amount of curb space in our neighborhoods. So we're getting more neighbors, but we're not creating new supply for them. So making that switch would be a way that we preserve really the amount of impact that we have in our neighborhoods. And then finally, and this will come up again, utilizing some real-time occupancy data and new technology that we're looking at to inform this policy. Maybe it's that 5 is not the right number of permits. Maybe we're overselling and that's creating impact in our neighborhoods, but right now we don't have the tools needed to tell. I'll move on from this one and I hope we come back to it. The next are overarching policies. So making sure that we can be predictable for both residents and visitors and customers. We want our permit program to be easily understood throughout the city. Right now, you can see a couple signs up here. Our permit zones have differing hours, differing days of the week. Some allow for 2-hour guest parking, some don't. And if you're going to visit a friend or maybe you have a job in that neighborhood, it is confusing and unpredictable. So one of the things that we would like to do is change the way we do things for citywide consistency, to have a standard set of hours and days of the week that our permit program covers, And we'd like to work with Coastal to look at a 4-hour visitor overlay in our coastal zones. Right now, we don't generally approve parking permit areas in our coastal zone because of access issues, but we do have a lot of impacts in those areas. And outside of the coastal zone, we'd look at a 2-hour visitor overlay everywhere, because that's something that we hear that makes it easier as we're managing parking for people, guests, employees, workers to come. The next one we got a lot of positive feedback on was a streamlined process. So right now, what we do is that there is a multi-step approach that's really generated from the neighborhood and can take upwards of a year to get a new parking district implemented. What we want is for neighbors to have certainty that if a development proposal is put forward in their neighborhood, they will definitely have an opportunity on a reasonable timeline to vote if they want to be in a district or not. How we see that going is that for projects of a certain size, and we had a lot of feedback on this at the various advisory bodies, at the time of a building permit being pulled, Public Works would send out a neighborhood vote to roughly 3 blocks around where that project was, and those residents would be able to vote to opt in or opt out of a district. Doing this at the time of a building permit solves one of the problems that we see, where you have many entitlement projects that come before you that residents feel nervous about. They feel like their neighborhood is going to change, but that project might not get financing, might not pull a building permit, and might not proceed. So putting this at the time of building permit rather than entitlement would put this certainty at the time that that neighborhood would actually be experiencing change, which would be good, and then would also spread our staff resources in a way that made sense. And then new development. We know from changes to state law that new developments don't necessarily have to provide parking. Some of them choose to, many of them choose not to. But what we've heard as a community value is that that choice by that developer to not provide parking or to provide little parking shouldn't have a negative impact on surrounding neighborhoods. Right now, we handle this on a project-by-project basis of what we do. Some of the projects we specifically put into conditions of approval that they are excluded from any current or future permit parking area. Some we're silent on, and it kind of depends on the feedback that we're getting on that project. What we would recommend doing here is changing the approach to per parcel, as we noted, and allowing participation. So you might have a building that goes up that is 100 units on a single parcel, and that single parcel would have that release valve of getting, right now it'd be 5 parking permits, but it wouldn't be 5 per home. It would be 5 total. So maybe that's someone that has a mobility issue. Maybe it's the on-site manager. Maybe it's someone that has a type of job that requires them to have a vehicle. So they're not excluded from participation all the way, but it's not providing the number of permits that each of those homes would get individually. So it's a way to recognize that there is a new impact in the neighborhood, have a release valve, but also manage it in a way that feels balanced. And then the next thing is, as noted in your staff report, we're looking at getting better data on how supply and demand is working on our roadways right now. Getting this tool in place and validating it will allow us to bring you future recommendations that are definitely more responsive to what we actually see on the ground. That could be things like changes to cost, changes to the quantity of permits, changes to the duration that a permit zone might be. As I noted, we want to get to consistency, but you might have a residential permit zone that's adjacent to a really popular nightlife area, where maybe you need that permit zone to go a little bit later because restaurants and bars stay open later than you typically think. And then getting more refined in eligibility, really going to that parcel-based, not address-based, which is one of our big pushes we hope to get guidance on today. Here's our recommendation that's within your report today. The first is to advertise and award the RFP for plan lines. Second part is direct us to return to you in the fall with code updates that reflect what you've heard today. The third is to provide feedback on those policy changes so that we can inform those code updates. And the fourth is to accept the update on major transit stop eligibility. With that, Gavin and I are available for questions. I'm happy to toggle back through slides as well.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I'll start on this side and see if there are questions from council members. Okay. Questions or comments from council members? Councilmember Brunner. No problem.
Thank you for going through that presentation and the examples. I had a couple questions from neighbors in my district, and just thinking about how each neighborhood, and you kind of touched on it, can have unique needs, and based on either environment, what they're next to, as you stated, or the design of certain neighborhoods. And one example was kind of dead end, or there was only one way in, one way out, or just kind of different environmental factors. And so there's a little bit of a concern around across the board consistent streamlining so how can you just speak to that and where there's room to address that?
When you say streamlining, do you mean our proposal to go straight to a vote for locations that are proximate? Are we using the same term?
Maybe a certain number of permits, all hours are the same. That you mentioned many different factors that would be consistent across the city. And so there's just just some questions around how that would play out in different areas.
Yeah, so thank you for the question. What I would say is when we look at it and how we would streamline the process to get someone into a new parking program, that relates to when the building permit gets pulled. It automatically skips the petition of interest, us doing data assessments and so forth, and moves straight to a vote process for them. If we're talking about how we assess which overlay time gets applied to an area, that really has to do with the geographics around the parking district. So is it a primarily commercial area, where daytime activity is happening, or is it, as Claire spoke, more robust nightlife and dining establishments? So that would then dictate the hours that we're trying to get to for the parking program for them. Does that answer your question?
I think another element is if 5 permits per parcel is too much in an existing neighborhood right now, or in a new addition, maybe they don't have as much curb space, maybe they have more density, and giving each address 5 permits. I think your question is also, do we have a way to tinker with that number to actually reflect the space available? Is that part of it?
Yeah, so right now we do that through occupancy assessments. It's not the most accurate tool because it's just a point in time, right? So we're getting a very small snapshot of what it looks like out there when we're making a decision about how much the area can take. We've started to do a little bit more robust, but this is really confined to the amount of staff we have to go out and do manual assessments. We've partnered with a company through Park Mobile, which is called Insights, and it's giving us a new technology and tool to use out there. So it's giving us almost real-time occupancy accounts. So as much as our fleet vehicles go through an area, we're going to have occupancy associated with that. We'll know what's going on in the area. That then helps us make some informed decisions about what we're going to wind up being able to accommodate on public streets. So then that would dictate how many permits we issue out to an area as things change on an annual basis.
As our neighborhoods grow and change, also, this will likely be something that iteratively comes back to you. I think this is the most amount of change that we've really seen in land use and housing in a generation. And so I would not expect us to be static on that.
Those manual assessments are 24/7, all day and night.
Historically, it's been during our operating hours. More recently, it's been when we have an area coming on that is being petitioned. We will go out and do numerous assessments. So every single day of the week, and we look at various times throughout the day. We normally do them till about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, when most people that are residents in the area would have been back to their home at that point. So, and they start first thing in the morning, probably around 4 in the morning, doing those assessments too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Berner. You're okay. Okay. I have more comments. I do have one question. What happens if we don't get the Caltrans grant? How will we proceed? Because the traffic impact study is an essential component of moving ahead.
we would plan to use our existing funds within our traffic impact fee program to do a new fee, which is an eligible use of those funds.
Okay, great. So just a couple of comments that, you know, I'm not interested in necessarily reshuffling and flipping the, 80% for, I think you said it was 80% for parking,
80% auto-oriented, 15% bike ped, 5%.
Yeah, so I'm not necessarily interested in sort of swapping that, but I am interested in growing the pot. And I think one way we can do that is through rethinking the traffic impact fee and increasing the traffic impact fee. So I hope that we can proceed or explore that through the study. On the parking permits, I'm glad to see that we're looking at streamlining. I think any multi-unit residential project should trigger a neighborhood vote at the time of the building. So, yes.
Like 4 units or like 20?
How do we define multi-unit? Anything more than 2? Yeah.
Hi, Lee Butler, Community Development Director, and 2 is typically
multi-unit.
defined as multifamily, but that is not when you've got ADUs. So
Okay,
ADUs
okay.
are separate, so you could have 4 ADUs on a parcel and 1 single-family
Got it.
residence, it's still considered single-family.
What did the planning or TPWC have thoughts on what number that should be?
Generally, we landed around 50, and there wasn't consensus. Some folks felt down around 20, others felt more like 80. So that range,
Okay.
I would say something around 50 would probably
Okay.
be appropriate.
I don't have a number, but that sounds about right. But what I would say is any project that does not require parking because of their proximity to a major transit district, I think that also should be considered as automatically triggering the neighborhood parking program. So I'd be interested in seeing that. The cost, I agree that we should have at least close to full cost recovery, but I don't think the cost burden should be falling on current residents. That's another piece for us to look at with the traffic impact fee. So investing in mobility infrastructure, investing in our neighborhood parking program. So I'd be interested in seeing how we can put that burden on developers. And I feel really strongly about this one. If it's a multi-residential unit and the project does not require parking and the developers are choosing not to have parking, then those residents are not eligible to apply for residential parking. I know that the commissions felt differently, but I feel really strongly, I don't know how my colleagues feel, I feel really strongly about that one. If the developer wants to be responsive to community members who have mobility issues, they should account for that by having parking. So those are more comments than questions, but that's where I'm at now. All right, if there aren't any other comments or questions at this point, I will take it out to public comment. Councilmember Brunner?
I just wanted to add one more. I just hope that it's taken into consideration. There are a lot of current residents that do not have a garage or a driveway. So I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one point. So with regard to all of our residential parking districts, people that have a valid ADA placard are exempt from our policies. So they can still park in those areas.
Makes sense. Great. Thank you. Okay, I will take it out for public comment. Please step forward.
I'm a little flustered because my technology failed and I had to run down here because I couldn't do the Zoom anymore. So anyway, I live in the Central Park neighborhood, and I think I could honestly argue that we are the most impacted neighborhood in the city. We are 3 tiny little blocks. We're like an island. To get anywhere out of our neighborhood, you have to cross Ocean Street or Water Street, and we're in the process of trying to get our permits extended. It's very exhausting to get all those signatures. People aren't home and whatnot. But I think it is absolutely essential that a project that's going to be built that isn't even in your neighborhood, and I wasn't clear on that point, could get permits to be in your neighborhood when the neighborhood's doing all the work to get the permits in the first place. So I really support what Shebra was saying on that we really, really should not allow that. It really dilutes it. It really sort of, if that were the decision, to me, it would feel like the ultimate betrayal of the city against neighborhoods that are tiny and struggling. We're going to have developments of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, probably really thousands of new people. Every apartment will probably have more than one person. A great portion of my neighborhood, people do not have, they rely on street parking, at least for one of, in their household. There's very, very little, actual street parking when everybody's, not everybody's home at once, but it only takes one house with 5 students and 5 cars to make a very noticeable difference in our neighborhood. For years, we struggled with this because county people parked in our neighborhood, and our neighborhood was completely full every day. So now we're trying to get nights and weekends to knowing what's coming. And it's just, you mentioned the fear. I am terrified every day of what's going to happen to my neighborhood when this all gets built. Right now, close to 1,000 units were approved, with one of them, the one that had all the parking, I think they're on hold, the one that goes from Ocean to May. One is being built. The others are, somewhere in the pipeline, and they all have maybe not no parking, but way, way, way less parking than units, which is way, way less parking than people. And most people around here have 2 cars. I mean, so to allow any of those parking in our neighborhood would be terrible. I also want to say that the one-size-fits-all approach is really not fair to my neighborhood and others like it.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Is there anyone online?
No hands are up, no.
Okay, anyone else here who wishes to speak on this item? All right, seeing none, I will bring it back to council for motion and deliberation.
Oh, I'll make a motion
Councilmember
to,
Newsom.
I'll make a motion to accept staff recommendation 1 through 4 with the additional direction to staff. Ms. Bush, if you can bring that up.
Do you want to see the additional? I already know what it is. We have a motion by Councilmember Newsom with additional direction that'll be brought up momentarily.
Direct staff to explore policy that removes all new multifamily housing developments along the corridors from being included inside residential parking districts.
Seconded by Councilmember Golder. Would you like to open on your motion?
Sure, thank you, Chair. So just want to thank staff for all their work on this and looking for ways to mitigate the impacts that are being caused by state law, allowing for projects to move forward without any parking. I think this is one way to move forward with that, and kind of gets at what Vice Mayor Colin Johnson was speaking to, is to not make these projects eligible for residential parking programs. And provides one way to keep them from parking in surrounding neighborhoods, and it seems that the parking provided by those projects should be the number of residents who can have cars at those projects. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Golder.
I'm just wondering if that language works for staff, or if there needs to be a tweak to that to get to the intent that we're getting at.
I was wondering if we could clarify corridors.
I was wondering if should we take that word out within the.
We could go with arterials. We could go with arterials and collectors. We don't have a definition of corridors that I could implement.
Just take out corridors?
Yeah, let's just take out corridors.
Okay. Does that work? All right. Councilmember O'Hara, comments, questions?
I have a question for the motion maker, and this is probably coming from my work as staff. I think this probably could be a lot more specific, because what we're basically saying is go ahead and explore it. There's no direction to return with any particular recommendations. I think I agree that we should not consider at all having multifamily development that is moving forward mostly for cost efficiency in the complete absence of looking at impacts to having no parking, to having access to our neighborhood parking permit program. So I think I agree with that in terms of the philosophy that you're moving forward with here. I do think it would be better to tie the recommendation specifically probably to 2. Does that make sense, Claire, in the motion? So we're returning to fall of 2026. And would it be helpful if you're hearing from the council that we actually want you to establish what the trade-offs are going to be? Like, I think that's what I would like to understand.
What I'm hearing, I think, is to come back with some level of policy that excludes multifamily housing projects that front our main arterials, projects that would be covered by the reductions that we have in state law for parking. Come back restricting them from participation in neighborhood parking permits and projects that don't front those of a certain size, not a duplex, probably not 4 units, but something else that's maybe not fronting one of those corridors that reflects the way that it could impact a neighborhood. Is that generally?
I would say so.
Okay.
And if I could just add to that, and to align it with the timing that's contemplated in item 2, is that where you're going with that?
I think so.
Councilmember O'Hara?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I see it kind of all being similar in, I think we need to look at it holistically, I guess is what I'm saying. I do have a follow-up comment, and I agree with the motion. I think that's the right way to go for sure. I think we should take out corridors, but I think, Claire, you kind of just bifurcated, because I would prefer to understand it anywhere, not just on the arterials.
I would say it's probably 2 layers to get to what you want to see, potentially. The first is that it could be anywhere for projects of a certain size, and maybe it's any that are fronting our arterials along those primary transportation corridors. We could say Ocean, Water, Soquel, Mission, Laurel, to be excluded from neighborhood parking programs. And it could also be projects of any size or a certain size that don't front those, which might reflect that there's more parking capacity right off of those arterials.
Okay.
That balance. But I would appreciate direction on that, if it's anywhere or if it's more refined.
Okay. If you don't mind, Councilmember, I might like to go a little bit further and just try to understand this, if that's okay. I agree with the philosophy of what we're trying to go with here. I'm also worried about, are we burdening these prospective tenants who have in no way, come into this tenancy, understanding probably that there is no way they're going to be able to park near where they live. There is an incredible burden that is being placed on these prospective tenants by virtue of the developer and the bottom line for the developer in moving forward with a project that has no parking. And, of course, there are going to be folks, in large part, these projects that are moving forward without parking have a high percentage of affordable units. Who are already at a disadvantage, right? And so I kind of want to understand those trade-offs. I want to understand, is the question that we are totally limiting access and we think, that value is, hey, developer, if you're not going to build parking to improve your bottom line, how are you going to ensure that you're communicating that to your prospective tenants so they're entering into these contracts eyes wide open? That's one. And two, I think I would also want to understand the trade-offs of if there is capacity in the neighborhood, and we do want to ensure that those that are accessing those affordable units, can we have a hybrid model where we are providing some, some access to folks? So I do want to understand that better. And I think that's, I think I'm hearing that direction. And I just would be curious, as the maker of the motion, Councilmember Newsom, if that's resonating with you in terms of really trying to understand those trade-offs, or are you in a position right now in making the motion where you're saying that, no parking permits?
I'm trying to completely grasp what you're asking, but I will say that these projects are presented to us as for people who are going to walk and bike and not drive. They're then supposed to be presented to the community, and people are going to move in under the guise of you're not going to drive, you're going to ride public transit, you're going to walk, you're going to use bicycles. So this is just one way to incentivize those residents of those buildings that are moving in under that guise to use public transit, to bike, to walk, and to not burden the neighborhoods.
If I may chime in real quickly, Council. Anytime we receive direction from the council to explore a policy for the council's benefit and future consideration, you can always expect that with that, we will bring a clear understanding of the key considerations related to that policy, any potential trade-offs for you to weigh as that policy comes forward. So that's what I take the direction as asking for. There is a lot to weigh related to what this could mean for future residents of these projects and existing residents adjacent. And we will go away and do that work if that's the council's wish and come back with a comprehensive discussion of what that might mean.
All right, thank you for that clarification. Councilmember Brunner.
Thank you. That was the question I was going to ask, was under the slide, the equity piece. I completely understand the new developments and the impact to the neighborhoods, but to direct staff to bring back policy that excludes new developments in this context is, it may not be equitable to the new tenants that are moving in. So I was curious, and I think you answered, to make sure that the policy includes that equity piece. I think it's really important. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments from council members? I'll just briefly say that I understand the intent of state laws, and I think it's a positive intent to get us to be less reliant on vehicles. And we're not there yet. Structurally, infrastructure, culturally, we're not there yet. So I think I really appreciate the thought and work that's gone into this. This is a opportunity for us to balance what state law is trying to accomplish and give us a runway to get there within our communities, within, again, the infrastructure, within how we think about mobility. So it's a bigger picture. It's about mobility in general. And I myself am very reliant on my vehicle, except when Councilmember Golder gives me a ride to council meetings. So I think we've got a long ways to go, but this is a really great start, and just appreciate the work on it. And with that, I will, that's okay.
Sorry, I just, on item 3, provide feedback on future policy changes, I just wanted to make sure I put on the record that I agree with the Vice Mayor that we should be moving forward with full cost recovery for sure, as much as possible.
Great, thank you. So with that, I will ask for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Triguero.
Aye.
Brunner.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Golder.
Aye.
O'Hara.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson.
Aye, that passes unanimously. Thank you so much, Mr. Hussey and Ms. Galogli. All right, we are moving back to item 7. And this is a very special presentation from the Santa Cruz Sisters Committee to honor the participants of the Hans Christian Andersen Writing Contest. The contest provides a wonderful opportunity for both children and adults to showcase their creativity. I would love to welcome and introduce Isabel Tunker and Anna Maria Treadwell, co-chairs of the, we have Tremaine Hedden-Jones. Okay, wonderful. Co-chairs of the chair and staff to the Sestre Levante Riva Trigoso Subcommittee. And do we have Mr. Brennan? No. All right, we have the two of you, and welcome. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much. I would like to thank City Council for allowing us to highlight the writing contest. It has been going on for 40 years, over 40 years now that we have been sister city with Sestre Levante. And this year we had very interesting participants, and we have 7 writers to recognize today. I don't know if you want to help me with the names or certificates.
For second place, we have Mia Gruns for The Fairy Princess and the Sapphire Dragons. This is for the category of ages 6 through 10. And for first place, we have Cora Casey for The Painting of the Sea. Are they here today?
Would you like to come up and receive your certificates?
For ages 11 to 17, we have second place winner Sigrid Bredenthal for The Isla and the Koi. In first place, we have Penelope Cook for Guardian of the Map.
Congratulations. Aw.
And then finally, for our ages 18 and up category, we have third place, Joan Priblek for An Unexpected Friendship. Second place, we have Gail Tyson for No Going Back. And for first place, drum roll please, we have Alexandra Lexi Pieper for Below Song, The Village Beneath the Glass. Congratulations.
I want to thank all the writers. I want to thank City Council. It was a review process done with the Dante Alighieri Association, and we're looking forward to seeing you next year. Thank you.
And I should mention, is it working? I should mention that the awardees will, looking at my notes, they will receive downtown dollars, is that correct?
Yes.
With their certificates. So they have received downtown dollars. Thank you to the sister committees for the work that you do, for coordinating this. This is such a wonderful way to engage the young people in our community and to bring out the diverse cultures that we see in their creative writing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. We are moving on to item 22, and that is the 2026 Youth Liaison Program presentation. I'm looking at our city manager, Ms. Templeton.
Yeah, we have Gina here today and Suki, so.
Okay, and do we have our youth
Yes, we do.
presenters are all here too? Okay.
So that's time certain, yeah.
We told them 4 o'clock, so we will take a recess until 4 o'clock. All right, I'd like to call the meeting back to order. We are now on item 22, which is the 2026 Youth Liaison Program presentation, and we have Ms. Gina Liebig to kick us off.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Vice Mayor and City Council members. Gina Liebig, Principal Management Analyst in the City Manager's Office and staff support for the Youth Liaison Program. Since October of 2024, the city has partnered with United Way to participate in the Youth Liaison Program, which provides high school students such as these with opportunities to engage with their community and gain firsthand experience with local government. The program is designed as a connection between young people and city council members, ensuring young perspectives and voices are considered and heard. At this time, I'd like to introduce Suki Ramos, Community Impact Coordinator with United Way of Santa Cruz County. Suki serves as the coordinator for the Youth Liaison Program and has played a key role in supporting and guiding the students throughout this program year. Suki?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Suki Ramos, and I serve as the Community Impact Coordinator with United Way of Santa Cruz County. I've had the great privilege of supporting and working alongside our Youth City Liaisons, an incredible group of young leaders who are passionate about creating positive changes in their communities. Tonight, we're excited to share the updates on their projects, the work that they've been leading, and the impact the youth voice can have when young people are given a seat at the table. Thank you. I'll go ahead and invite up Kaden.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caden Carson, and I'm a freshman at Harbor High School. During this program, I worked with my mentor, Gabriella Triguero, and Shemaine Hedden-Jones, the Superintendent of Recreation from the Department of Parks and Rec, to learn about how the city works and learn more about this department specifically. My project during this program is working with Parks and Rec and its associated nonprofit organization called Friends of Park and Rec, or FOPAR, as they prepare for the Live at the Lane event. This year's event will take place on July 3rd from 2 to 7 p.m. at Lighthouse Point Lawn with food trucks, live music, and raffle. FOPAR's Live at the Lane is an event that improves our community by creating positive experiences for local families and youth. While working with Parks and Rec, I learned a lot of things, such as how the department plans services and programs annually, including the budgeting and coordination involved in implementing them. My advice to future liaisons would be to make sure you have a broad idea of what you're interested in and who you want to work with. Knowing this helped me out a lot and made it easier for me to get involved. And once you know what you're going to be doing, make sure to manage your time and expectations and try to get involved and participate as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaden.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bo Goldstein. I'm a senior at Santa Cruz High School, and the past couple months I've been working with Vice Mayor Shebra Kalantari Johnson, Dr. Tiffany Wise West, and Andy Shatney, who's the city's energy project coordinator, developing a sort of project financing / funding map and additional supporting documents for the city's sustainable energy projects that, work towards our 2030 climate action plan goals. It's still a work in progress. I'll be, working this summer to complete this project with my mentors. But so far I have a flow chart sort of depicting the solar financing side of things, some steps that, sort of help break down this complex process, as well as additional documents that sort of show local examples and some sources on where to find, grants and incentives with, hopefully the goal of potentially in the long run, showing this to other municipalities and sort of helping them in, the financing side of these sustainable energy projects, because not everybody has somebody like Andy Shatney who's, really knows how to manage these grants and incentives. So, sort of trying to make this whole process more clear is sort of what I've been trying to work towards. And, some advice for future liaisons. I think what worked for me was having an interest in mind that I wanted to pursue. And, for me, it was sustainable energy, of course. And I knew Tiffany Wise West was a sort of major figurehead at the city here for that sector. So I reached out to her, help my mentors, Suki Ramos at United Way helped me a lot with connecting them. And it's been a pleasure working with them. But yeah, I think working, knowing what you want to do worked for me. It's not necessarily the right way to do it, but that's one way, not the approach I took. Thank you.
Thank you, Bo.
Sorry. Good afternoon. My name's Sophia Hoffman, and I'm a sophomore at Santa Cruz High School. My project was trying to I had two different projects, actually. My first project was to find more parking because a lot of my peers complained that they didn't have enough money to pay for parking all the time and that it wasn't affordable. However, I didn't quite get to that, so I'm still collecting responses now. And my second project was working on to figure out what spots and areas of Santa Cruz High School, not just Santa Cruz High School, but Santa Cruz as a city, people want to like hang out in without having to spend money, or just free spaces for people my age. I'm still getting responses right now, so I haven't quite completed the project, but we'll see how it goes. One of the lessons I learned mostly was that I really learned how the different branches of Santa Cruz government work together to solve different issues, because I couldn't quite decide on what my project wanted to be, and I could just see the support that people really gave from all those different branches. And I think my main challenge was just deciding what I wanted to do, because there's so many things that could be like figured out, and I didn't want to waste my time on something that didn't really matter to people. But I think I found a good project to do from here. And I just want to thank my mentors in general, because I have a really busy schedule, and I think they really helped accommodate that, and I'm just really grateful for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. I'll turn it back over to Gina to close us out.
Thank you. This concludes the presentation, and thank you. We'll take any questions or comments. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. I will start with Councilmember Golder.
I just want to thank and applaud the three of you for coming here today to share what you've been working on and really stepping up to help the community. And if you still want to work on the parking, that's been something I've been working on my whole time on council at Santa Cruz High. And I think I have an easy solution, but it just hasn't, I've not got the boulder up the hill yet. So you can get my contact info from the vice mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember O'Hara.
Thank you. I also want to express my appreciation and really admiration in coming in, thinking about ideas and challenges and questions that you have, and thinking about how local government fits into answering those questions, right? And each and every one of you was probably born and raised here in Santa Cruz, or at least have lived a big percentage of your life here. You know, every day move across this community and have different experiences than somebody my age does. We need to know about that. We need to know what is important to you. We need to know what impacts you. We need to know what excites you, and we need to know what you think we should be working on. So I really applaud the effort of our mentors as well. And keep asking those questions as you move through high school and as you hopefully move on to college or trade school or whatever is next. Because the pursuit of curiosity and questions is really what's going to, create those opportunities moving forward. So thank you for participating with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Move over here, Councilmember Triguero and then Bruner.
Thanks, Vice Mayor. I had the wonderful opportunity to be involved this year, which is the second year we've done this youth liaison program. And as we build it, as we continue out, the energy that we got from our youth was just really wonderful. It reminds me how incredibly smart and perceptive our youth are, and how perceptive they truly are to civic issues, and how incredibly uncool I am at every turn. Caden is a freshman at Harbor High. And here he is presenting in front of a jurisdictional government agency, collaborating with a nonprofit, collaborating with staff across departments. I'm just really, really proud of how much he's bent his intellect and his free time towards this project, and really appreciate the support, of course, of our superintendent of the parks for leaning into this project as well. Really, really proud of all of our youth liaisons. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bruner.
Thank you. Just a couple quick comments and gratitude. Gratitude to United Way, gratitude to city staff, gratitude to Vice Mayor Kalantari Johnson and Councilmember Triguero. Gratitude to the three of you, the youth liaisons that participated and that presented today. This program has been such a great, another great, we've had so many greats today, another great first for us in the city. And when we adopted our Youth Bill of Life, our Youth Bill of Rights and this liaison program really committing to ensuring more of a connection both ways for youth in our city. And this program just continues to grow, and I hope the interest continues. I'm glad your presentations included tips for future liaisons. I'm glad you all received information and experience to carry on and help inform you in future endeavors and initiatives. Sophie, thank you for also including something in return to us. And those were two issues that you face, free spaces for youth and parking. And those are the types of things that we need to hear from you. And I hope that you continue with the project and provide us at a future date with some data and information that can help us inform future policy and where we can support our youth in different areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Newsom.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just want to echo my colleagues' comments and just thank you for participating in the program. Thank you to the mentors and just say great work. Thank you.
Great, and I'll add my comments and gratitude for United Way city staff, and of course, the three of you youth liaisons. The work that you do really matters. I mean, I know this is a brief moment of presentation, but you worked hard all year, and it does, as Councilmember Bruner said, it does help inform where we go next with certain policies. The questions you ask different questions and you ask them differently to the community. So I've learned so much from you all. Bo, what grid for finance, sustainability, electrification, you were speaking a whole nother language. And by the way, Bo, you're a senior. Where are you gonna go next year? All right.
Yeah.
Nice work. But really, truly, the work that you do is so meaningful. You're three young people in our community, and so it's a snapshot of what young people are thinking and what they want to see, and it's invaluable. So I appreciate your participation. I appreciate, Bo and Sophia, you mentioned your projects aren't complete. You're planning on continuing to do that work on your own. So we will take whatever you complete, we will take the work that you do and we'll, integrate it into our policy efforts. So I think with that, I want to invite you all up for a picture. Yeah? Come on up. And before this, we had the Hans Christensen awardees come up, and one of the young lady winners wanted to sit in the seat and hit the gavel, so you're welcome to do that too.
He wants the gavel. Sorry, you guys.
Sorry. All right, who gets the mayor's seat? Yes.
Go up. No, I'll take pictures. You go up.
Yeah.
Can I hold the camera?
Yes, you may. You can
Even hit it.
I took your picture and sent it to
Oh,
I did.
huh.
But Michelle, you should be up here too.
I know she should.
Let's get one. Michelle, do you want to get one in here? No, she doesn't. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you
All right,
guys.
thank you.
You're good to go.
Thank you.
Go.
Sorry. Stay in touch with us. All right. It looks like I need a motion to accept the presentation.
Second.
Okay. Do we need to do a roll call for that? O'Hara. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That passes unanimously. All right, so with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
O'Hara, and then
We're ready to
Golder.
rock.
They fight over
And with that, meeting is adjourned. Do we have any other business? Yes. Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
You and I both.